Hey everyone, this is George Hedden, founder of PauseFest and Awards, and you tuned to Breakthrough Sessions 2024. We're all about the clever ideas that push boundaries, and for the next couple of months, we're bringing you some of the sharpest minds in the business to talk about what's happening right now. Every Friday at 1 p.m. from September 6th to October 25th, we're live for 30 minutes, just enough time to give you some serious insights without pulling you away from your busy day. So let's dive in, get inspired, and most of all, let's break through together. Today's session is 101 Dreams Workshop, how to create a life of your dreams. In this highly productive hands-on workshop, participants will be inspired to write down their top 3 dreams and create practical action plan with the crucial steps to turn their dreams into reality. Our awesome facilitator, Kristina Karlsson, founder of kikki.K and Dream Life, is an inspiring keynote speaker and a workshop facilitator known for her authenticity and relatability. Founder of the 650 million retail brand kikki.K, Kristina empowers audiences to dream big through her real-life experiences, best-selling book, and popular podcast, delivering lasting impact and practical value. We are thrilled to have you online here with our wonderful participants to kick this off. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for that lovely introduction. And hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to go fast because I've got lots I want to share with you. And I am so passionate about dreaming because there's no way I would be sitting here today if I didn't start with dreaming. So I love goal setting as well, but I think dreaming should come before. So if there's one thing I want you to remember from our session today, it would be to dream so big, even if you have no idea how to make it happen. So when we do our session together today, there will be some things coming up for you, which means that you might be thinking, oh, I don't know about that, or someone will have an opinion about that, or I don't know how to do that. That is all normal if we are dreaming big and we haven't done it before, but I want you to write it down anyway. So I really would love for you to grab a pen and a journal or a piece of paper, ideally. If you want to use devices, you obviously can, but I think it's much better to handwrite. I'm just going to share. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I can't see you there. Thanks, Kylie. That's very nice that you have a yellow Dream Life journal. So I'm going to give like a 2-minute background on me, but basically my journey started all about dreaming. So one morning at 3 a.m. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was really frustrated. I was lost. I didn't know what to do with my life. So I asked my partner, what am I going to do with my life? And he was a bit over my complaining and whinging. So he said, why don't we write down what is important to you? So I wrote down that I wanted to drive to work every single day and absolutely loving it. I wanted to have a business on my own, but I had no experience, no idea what that would be. And never worked in retail. So that was not even on my radar. Then I wanted to have a connection with Sweden, my home country. My English is my second language, so if I don't always make sense, that's why. And then I wanted to work with something I'm passionate about, and that's Swedish design. And then I wanted to make $500 a week. They were my first dreams on paper. And because I wrote those things down, that led me to kikki.K. And I'm not going to talk about kikki.K today because that's a very long journey, but I could never ever have imagined when I wrote down that I wanted to have my own business, what that would have opened up in terms of what I have experienced. Lots of ups, lots of downs as well, like in any business, but I lost my business, kikki.K, over COVID. Long story, I won't talk about that today, but the good thing is when you are dreaming big, even if you lose something, this could be a relationship, a business, a career, a role, whatever, you can always come back. And that's what's so powerful with dreaming, because you can create a dream life at any given point in your life, whatever you're going through. So today we're going to do some of that. And now I've got a new business called Dream Life. My dream is to inspire 101 million people just like you to write down 3 dreams and go and chase them, because I see so many people not loving their life and living to their potential, and I want to change that because even if we get to live a long life, life is too short not to make the most of this one precious life we've been given. So I'm going to share the screen, and I'm just going to get started with the workshop. Just bear with me for a sec. And I'm just going to ask you, and I'm going to go fast. It's really hard to deliver a workshop in 30 minutes, but so I'm going to put lots into it, and then you can go back and put some more thought into it. I think it's better to go wide for you to think outside the square today, and then when you've got some more time, you can actually go a little bit deeper on these questions, because you will have much more to pour into it if you take some more time. But I want you to start with, why are you doing this workshop? And I would love for you just to type that into the chat, because that gives me a bit of an insight on where you are at. So why are you doing this workshop? Some of you might want a bit of a reset, but I'd love to know what it is. I can't find the chat now. Oh, here we go. Sorry. So if you could type in, that would be amazing, just to give me some ideas why you are doing this workshop. It's also really good. This is something I do with everything. Why am I doing this? And why is this important to me? A really good thing to journal about. Take myself, my business to the next level. Love that, Kylie. Dreaming like this for your business. I'm going to do it very generic today, but doing these kind of questions for your business is amazing. Because I have trouble doing big, I always get caught up in the how and details, so hard to go big. Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Liz, for sharing. I'm just going to keep going, but feel free to add to that, but I'll keep an eye on the chat. So let me just... so I want you to start reflecting. We're just going to do a couple of questions of reflecting, and then we're going to dream. So what's gone well so far in 2024 for you? I'd love for you just to write it down. You don't have to share it. This could be work, career, business, could be health, wellness. It could be personal development. It could be community. Just write down a few things that gone well so far. So what's gone well? Just write it down. And then we're going to reflect on what hasn't gone so well. So I know that some of you might have had some challenges, because that is life, and it's just part of life. So, but it's good to kind of reflect on what hasn't gone so well, because when we do, we get a moment to really think about it and then reflect on it, and perhaps make sure it doesn't happen again if it's in your control. So maybe some of you didn't follow through with some of your goals, maybe some of your habits that you perhaps plan to change. Maybe there's something out of your control that didn't go well. Maybe you lost someone passed away, or someone got sick, or you got sick. Love for you to just write down what hasn't gone so well in 2024. Then I want you to think about what your key challenges are right now. This is a really good one, because sometimes when we have a challenge or a few challenges in our heads, it feels really overwhelming. And I find when you write down your key challenges and you put them on paper so you can see them, you can kind of step away from them. It just helps you kind of start working towards how to overcome those challenges. So just write your key challenges. Could be that you feel like you don't have enough time. It could be that you are not clear on what you want in your life. It could also be obviously relationship, work, business challenges. There's a lot of challenges out there. So just whatever comes to mind for you. Not many contracts for designers. Yeah, that will be a challenge. So just write all your challenges down. Then I want for you to write down, are you clear on your top 3 goals or dreams or whatever you want to call them? I refer to dreams. Goals are often broken down to smaller pieces, but are you clear on your goals for 2024? And if you are, I want you to write them down. You don't have to share them, just write them down. And if you're not, I want you to think about 3 things that you really want to happen this year. You'll come up with much more of when we start, but I just want you to be always super clear what you want this quarter to be like. So we're coming in now to Q4, and I actually plan my year in January, and then I treat every quarter as a mini year, and it makes a massive difference in terms of focus and productivity. But I want you to think about just for this year, if you had them, and if not, what are your 3 things for Q4 if you're aware of them? And if you're not, this should be something high on your list in Q4 to work out what your top 3 dreams and goals are.
Sorry, Kristina, if I may ask, so you start a year with the goals, and do you then I didn't hear, maybe reflect each quarter, or you kind of revisit each quarter to kind of see how you're tracking, and then maybe perhaps adjust those?
Absolutely. So I take in my coaching program, I actually plan with everyone the whole January for 2020 for the next year, for 2024 was this year. And then we break down each quarter. So every quarter we replan based on what we wanted to achieve in January. And the reason for doing that is because things change, right? So we don't really know in 6 months' time what the economy is going to be like, or things change very, very rapidly now. So I have an idea what I want for the whole year, but then I break it down just a smaller chunk for the first quarter, and then I look at that at the end of the quarter. So we do this together every quarter. Just look at what worked, what didn't work, what do we need to change. It's a really effective way of doing it, and I'm happy to come back and do a session with you guys in the new year, because it's so powerful. I just want you to close your eyes just for a moment, and I just want you to take a 3 deep breaths, because we're going to go into dreaming now. So just take a big breath in and out. 2 more big breaths in and out. And the last breath, I want you just to take the biggest breath you've taken all day. And then I want you to imagine, while you're doing that you can create a life of your dreams. There's no shoulds. There's no thing as I can't. You can do whatever you want. And that is an amazing way of looking at life. Anything is possible. So let's get started. Open your eyes, grab a pen, and let's go for it. I want you to write down, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? So many of us are scared of failure. That was me as well. I'm so good at failure now. I'm not scared anymore. So what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Write it down. Whatever comes to mind. Doesn't matter if you think you can do it, or if you have money for it, time for it. Write it down. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? So for me, that was a business a long time ago. A few years ago, it was a podcast, and I was terrified of starting a podcast for some reason. I'd rather do another 500 stores. But I wrote it down anyway. And podcasts, now I've done 300 episodes, and it's one of my favorite things to do. So just write it down. Same, you might want to write a book or start a podcast or a YouTube channel or a business or change career or move to the other side of the world. Whatever comes up for you. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And what would you do if you had all the time and money to do whatever you want? So most of us don't feel like we have enough time, and most of us don't have all the money that we want to do whatever we want. But what if you did? What will be different in your life? And what would you do? Just keep writing. Some of these questions you'll come up with the same answer. Just write it down. It's a really good sign that something is in there you might want to consider. So if you had all the money, a really good question to ask yourself, if you didn't have to work for money, what would you do? So I now coach. I have a virtual book club for personal development books, and I have a Dream Life store with all journals that I love. I would do that without getting paid because I love it so much. What would you do if you didn't have to work for money? Are you doing what you want to do right now? Or are there some other things that comes to mind? And what would you do if you had all the skills and knowledge you need to do whatever you want? So when I wrote down that I wanted to have a business, I had no idea about anything in business. I didn't even know what invoice meant because English was my second language. So do not let that stop you. If you don't have the skills and the knowledge right now to do whatever you're thinking of, write it down anyway. So what would you do if you had all the skills and knowledge you need? And sometimes we don't even write down things because we think that's going to take too long. Just write it down so you can see it all in front of you. And what would you do if you had all the courage to do whatever you want and all the self-belief you need to create a life of your dreams? So the number one thing that comes up in my coaching program is that everyone who shares their dream suffer with self-doubt. And if you have a dream that you haven't done before, or a goal or a habit that you haven't done before, it's really normal to feel that way. So what would you do if you had the courage you need and the self-belief you need to do whatever you want? So one of the things that came up for me this year in January when I planned was I want to do a lot of more speaking. So I set myself the dream to do 104 speaking gigs. A lot of people never say that because I don't know if it's even possible to do that many. It's 2 a week when you're just starting out. But I didn't really care because I just thought if I put it out there and I share it, people are more likely to help me. I'll be more likely to think about it. And if I just thought, oh, I'll probably get to 25, which I know that I can get easily, then I would just have done as normal. But because I'm dreaming so big, I now have to think outside the square. And that is where the fun begins. So what comes to mind for you? What would you do if you had all the courage not to worry about what other people think, or if you could do it, or if you are not good at it? Because certainly public speaking wasn't a good thing for me when I started. Podcasts certainly wasn't a good thing when I started. I'm still not very good, but I love it. So what comes to mind for you? And what would you do if you had all the health and the energy you need? So that might not be the case for you right now. You might not wake up with so much energy that you just want to jump out of bed. But what if you did? What would you change in your life? Maybe you want to start a morning ritual. That's one of the things that I do. I get up early because I love my mornings so much. And if you had all the health, maybe you would start exercising more because you had more energy. Maybe you will take more time for your family, friends, travel. I don't know what it is for you. I would actually work more because I just love my business so much. I don't know if I can work more actually because I feel really healthy. I'm doing 75. I don't know if anyone heard, but I'm about 75 hard. You can Google it after. I'm doing that at the moment. And I love a challenge. It's time consuming. It's not the right time to do it, but I love a good challenge. So what would you do if you had all the health and energy you need to do whatever you want? And just think about all the amazing experiences. This is a really fun one to do with your morning coffee tomorrow. What are all the things that you want to do? So some of you might want to travel the world. Some of you want to. One of my thing. I really want to live in Sydney. I live in Melbourne, and I always wanted to live. So that's high on my list. I also want to live in my favorite cities around the world for 3 months or 12 months. There's so many things I want to do. What are your experiences? Could be local, could be international, anything in between. Could be a cooking class, living in France. It could be meeting some certain people. could be, you know, one of the things that come up with me a few years ago, I do this exercise often, was to do 2 retreats a year, and now I'm running my own retreats. And I never ever thought that I would be able to do that because I don't know how to run retreats, and now I'm running retreats. Write down whatever comes to mind, even if you don't think you have the skills to do it. I'm going to do this one really quickly, but this is something I really want you to think about later on. What kind of people do you want to be around? So I want to be with I want to be around dreamers and big thinkers and entrepreneurs and healthy people, because I want to be fit and healthy. I want to be around positive people. I want to be around kind people who put human people first. I had such an awful experience with losing kikki.K and administrators, and I promised myself that I will never ever surround myself with people like that ever again. So what kind of people do you want to be around? Just think about all your hobbies. You want to be around people who are like-minded. Not always agree with you. You also want to have diversity, but you want to be around people that makes you feel good and excited and makes you think bigger and being more excited about life. And if you were living your dream life right now, what kind of habits would you add or remove? So I have a habit club. It's just a Facebook group, and I go live there sometimes. And every month I choose one new habit. And on the 23rd of September, I'll give you a QR code if you want to join us. But basically from the 23rd of September, we've got 100 days left of this year. And I'm asking everyone to focus on just one habit, that if you change that habit, it will have a ripple effect on your life. So it's really good to write down all the ones and then choose one that for the next 100 days, starting 23rd of September, which is in 10 days, and then work on that every day. It could be healthy. It doesn't have to be related to your dreams and goals, just something that will give you the energy. So I'm doing 75 hard. So I've started it today just to kind of get practice, but when the 100 days start, I'm going to continue that. So have a think about what the habits are. And I'd love for you to share a couple that you either want to remove or add in the chat. I'll keep going, but it would be really stop watching TV. Yes, absolutely. You might not want to stop, but you can definitely reduce TV and just have one night a week or something. I stopped watching the news a long time ago and made so much space. And now when I stay with people and I see that they have television on, it's so bad for your nervous system. It's just stress without really realizing it. Waking up 1 hour earlier, if you do that and set yourself up for the day, it's incredible. It's conscious of time. Gosh, it goes so quickly. Have a think about this. We won't do this now, but I want you to have a think about over the weekend, what kind of ideal morning ritual would you have? So I spend 2 hours. I've got kids, so I like to have 2 hours for myself before I start a day. And I meditate, I go for a walk or a run or a yoga class, and then I journal. And some of my friends think that's the most boring morning, but that's what I love. So think about what will get you excited to get up in the morning. Love for you just to share a couple of dreams just so we can get inspired. Just for a minute, and then we're going to just do a couple of things before we finish. I want to clear on what kind of business I want to continue, product, services, and what kind of people I want to work with. Skills, perfect. Start hiring great people. Yes, I want to act on my ideas. Stop watching TV. Certified looks pretty good. Yeah, it's exciting. You should join, George. I just started today, but I've been practicing it for a week just to see if it was even possible. But I'm going to do it. And all my friends are like, that's crazy. And I'm like, it's not really that crazy when you really look into it, because one of them can be a walk. Perfect. Thank you. Start presenting. Love that, Kylie. Book. Atomic Habits. Yes, I love Atomic Habits. Take the TV flag out. I love that. I'm just going to keep going and I'll read it while I do this. I just want you to reflect on this quote and maybe take a screenshot or a photo of it. If someone told you how many years, weeks, and hours you had left to live, would that change the way you live? So even if we get to live a long life, life is short in my opinion. So if you keep that in mind, you will be more likely to take action, because I just want to make the most of this one precious life that I have been given. So I just want you to do your age now in 10 years time. You can then add your children or partner, grandparents, whatever, pets. But I want you to write down yours just for the interest of time, and then you can do the rest later. I do this all the time, so I know exactly how old I am, and I think all of us do. But when I put my children's ages, I'm going to have a 26-year-old in 10 years' time, which kind of blows my mind. And it just really reminds me how quickly time goes. And I'm doing this just to make you realize that you got time to do whatever you want, but you need to make the most of that time you've got. So this is hopefully giving you some excitement to take some action out of today. And then I want to actually, I think we're missing one thing. Yes, so I'm just going to, that's it, there's a slide missing. Before we do the taking one action in the next 24 hours, I want you now, but it's a little bit too fast to do this, but I want you to think about, if you could create 3 dreams of all the dreams you've written down, just do 1, 2, 3 and write them down. I'm just going to give you a minute to do that. Even if you don't really know, put number 1 as I am going this quarter, coming up Q4, I'm going to work out what my top 3 dreams are going to be for 2025. That's a really good one. One might want to be health related, because I just feel like when I work on my health and my well-being and my fitness, I got so much more energy. One might want to be business related or professional related one, but there's no right and wrong. If there's one really big one, it might be enough, but I like the 3. One might want to be family or relationship related, but there's no rules. I just find that if you have 3, it's manageable, depending on the size of them, of course. And then once you've done that, and again, we need a little bit more time for things like this, but I wanted to share as much as I possibly can in the 30 minutes that we have. Because if you can take some of these kind of questions and start journaling about them in the morning, maybe start a morning ritual, maybe decide on one habit, and then being really clear on your top 3, at least you will get started. And it's just so important to get started. There's a really good quote by Zig Ziglar: you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So I want you to write down in the chat, if you don't mind, what is one key action that you are going to take in the next 24 hours? What is one key action that you are going to take in the next 24 hours? One time, give it clients. I love that, Alfred. Thank you. Just put it in the chat, and then invite people to my program. Love that. Good action. Make time for walking, as that is when I make space for dreaming. I love that. I do that every single morning. I can't live without it now. Work on my goals for 2025. That's a really good one, Kylie. Maybe you want to break that down and just do what is one action out of that. Maybe you want to just say, hey, I'm going to book in 30 minutes tomorrow with my morning coffee to think about it. Just to kind of break it down, update my morning alarm to 1 hour earlier. That is a great one. Sometimes the one action should be really, really small, so it's easy to start, because it's really the hardest part is starting. And then before we finish off, I just want to remind you that the only thing that will stop you from fulfilling your dream, that is you. And sometimes we don't want to hear that, but there, at the end of your life, when you get to the end of your life, you will not regret all the things that you did wrong. You will most likely regret the things you didn't do when you had the chance to do it. So I'm hoping today has given you some inspiration and energy to be really excited about dreaming big and taking some action. And often we don't have to have 101 dreams. I always want to do 101 dreams because I want to think outside the square. But if we get our top 10 done in our lifetime, I think that is an incredible achievement. So I'm going to just give you a QR code just for a little tip. So there's top 10 tips to create your dream life. That's just a free PDF that you can download to help you to continue this journey. And if you wanted to join the 100 Days Habit Challenge, it's just there. I'm obsessed with habits, and I love how that really helps me creating a life of my dreams. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop sharing now.